tornado emergency for this storm.
El Reno.
New tornado emergency for the late.
Take cover right now. I am telling you to take cover.
Joplin.
Right now, we do have a tornado on the ground.
The catastrophic tornado that is in Mayfield right now. Lives are being changed right now.
From the National Weather Service, a tornado emergency now in effect for Greensburg in Kiowa County.
Bart, you're gonna have to cowboy up, buddy.
Oh, it's about a mile wide. It's a violent tornado. This is a tornado emergency. This is heading into more. This tornado is heading into more. Good. Look at that. Are you kidding me?
Tuscaloosa.
This will be a day that will go down in state history. And all you can do is pray for those people.
Hackleburg.
Something that you pray that you never, ever, ever see.
This is a significant tornado situation
Smithville.
heading towards Smithville. You're the next community to be impacted.
These are the storms that have come to define our generation of severe weather. Storms that push the scale to its limits and max out the upper bounds of what tornadoes are even capable of. They are the emblematic symbols of our era. And yet there is one more that stands apart. Not because it was more deadly, and not because it was bigger. This tornado was a pioneer, a forerunner that told of what lies ahead.
In immediate danger of a large tornado moving through your neighborhood if you can get below ground, even if it's
So powerful that it not only set records that still stand today, but it had scientists remake the damage scale. 14 years later, the atmosphere ran it back.
This is terrible. This is war zone terrible.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Folks, we plead with you, just go to your safe spot if you possibly can. That's an F. Look at the horizontal vortex. That is an F4 to an F5 tornado. We pray and plead with you, please get down now.
Very dangerous situation. Our worst fears really are realized.
Yes.
A major tornado on the ground in a major metropolitan area. Dangerous situation.
Folks, this is essentially, you never want to say it, but we're going to say it right now. This is May 3rd all over again as far as the intensity of this tornado, where it is heading. And something has to change fast or it's going to be very close to a May 3rd event. Never want to say that, but that's what we have right now.
Just the worst. I mean, just the worst. Nothing parallels this that I've ever been through. Nothing at all.
That one they just brought in, I'm afraid she's dead.
We'll take her across the street.
Yes, let's get her out of here right now.
Okay.
We got one, they brought in one, then she has just expired. We can't afford the resources to try and work this. I'm real sorry.
The neighborhood was completely leveled. There was not a single structure left upright.
Everyone okay as far as now?
This storm completely changed the way that we measure tornadoes. It changed the way that we communicate warnings to the public. It changed the way that news media covers severe weather. This tornado forced the National Weather Service to do something they had never done before. Create a new warning on the spot. The first ever tornado emergency. This tornado didn't just devastate and destroy entire communities, it shattered the limits of what scientists believe a tornado can physically do. Everything that followed, so much of what we now know in science and media and public awareness, it can be traced back to this moment.
I know you've been through a lot, huh? Can you talk to me? What's your name? Wyatt?
This was more than just another tragic tornado event, but a watershed moment in humanity's understanding of the natural world.
Yeah, how old are you, Wyatt? 3? Okay.
Some disasters leave scars. Others leave a legacy. What happened on May 3rd, 1999 didn't just change lives. it changed science. It forced the world to redefine what a tornado can be. No storm before it, and none since, has ever reshaped our understanding quite like this one. The year is 1999, peak 90s era. If you were alive back then you know how nostalgic it feels to look back on that era. Humanity was just cruising near its peak. The internet was still a fairly new thing and starting to explode. Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa were juicing their brains out, smacking home runs almost every other game. Boy bands and teen pop were taking over the world and making billions for their boardroom overlords. Jinko jeans and bleached tips were everywhere. Twister was one of the most successful movies in recent memory, drawing hordes of 90s kids into their local meteorology departments expecting an exciting career like Helen Hunt chasing big tornadoes, but sadly realizing their career would look more like a math teacher sitting in a cubicle doing complex physics. Meanwhile, the news headlines were intense. Bill Clinton was navigating the aftermath of his impeachment. Old Uncle Ted had been convicted for his crimes. Columbine had just happened, one of the darkest, most horrific moments in American history. And Timothy McVeigh, acting alone. No conspiracies, no accomplices, no federal agency involvement, had left his mark on Oklahoma City forever. So yeah, 1999 had it all. The fun, the chaos, some cultural highs, and some terrifying cultural lows. By the late 90s, tornado culture in the US was thriving.
You're a weather dweeb, a weenie, a nerd, a dork.
And much of that, of course, can be traced back to Twister, a movie that did more than just entertain the masses. This movie reframed tornadoes in the public imagination. They weren't just distant rural events anymore. They were cinematic, they were personal, they were violent. And suddenly people wanted to see them and understand them. And that curiosity was being mirrored in the scientific world. Atmospheric science and meteorology were undergoing a quiet but profound acceleration. Research departments were growing, funding was increasing, new technology was being developed and deployed in the field. For the first time, scientists weren't just studying tornadoes after the fact. They were starting to chase them with real purpose. Mobile radar, particularly the early development of Doppler on wheels, represented a fundamental shift. Tornadoes were no longer just inferred from past damage. They could be observed, scanned, and measured in real time. And this was, and is still today, huge. Public perception was beginning to change. Tornadoes were no longer seen as unpredictable freak events that simply happened at random. There was a growing sense that the science was catching up, that understanding, prediction, and even risk mitigation might finally be within reach. So by May of 1999, the stage was set. The science was advancing, the public was paying attention, and the tools were finally capable of capturing something that had never been captured before.
Very dangerous situation. Our worst fears really are realized. A major tornado on the ground and a major
The morning of May 3rd, 1999 did not look like history in the making. To forecasters, it was a very familiar spring setup across the southern plains. Warm air, deep moisture, instability building through the day, the kind of pattern Oklahoma sees regularly every spring.
Conditions are pretty favorable for some explosive thunderstorm development.
A severe weather day, but not yet a legendary one. The Storm Prediction Center highlighted the central Oklahoma region, but cautiously. As the hours passed, the atmosphere began to organize. Instability surged, winds strengthened and turned with height. The ingredients weren't just present, they were stacking. And by late morning, the forecast was upgraded. And by mid-afternoon, it was upgraded again to a high risk. What had started as a typical routine severe spring weather day in Oklahoma was now being flagged as something far more dangerous. Forecasters were no longer asking if storms would fire, but how violent would they be. By mid-afternoon, tornado watches are in place, and when storms finally break the cap, they're not hesitating. They're in a hurry. What follows is the upper limit and beyond of what atmospheric science had warned was possible. Shortly after 4 p.m., the National Weather Service office in Norman starts issuing various tornado warnings throughout central Oklahoma, and at 6:23, the most historic tornado to ever touch our planet slithers down from the clouds. A truly historic moment is underway. The strongest tornado ever documented is on the ground.
6281, 20 on the ground.
There we got it, pal. You see it. We see a huge rotation, close to the ground. Tornadoes on the ground. We got a funnel on the ground right now, right inside. Tornado on the ground. Debris cloud, there it is.
But it's rotating very strongly, Gary. There goes, wow. That is absolutely awesome. This thing is throwing up debris all over the place.
The tornado touches down near Amber, Oklahoma, roughly 12 miles southwest of Moore. It begins quickly tracking east to northeast towards the metro.
Like I say, the funnel is real small. I'd say the funnel might not be any wider than 100 yards, but it's throwing lots of debris. It's very intense at the surface. Very intense.
It doesn't stay small for long, undergoing rapid intensification almost immediately. It also had some somewhat unusual shape-shifting characteristics in its early life cycle, which is common for some of the more high-end tornadoes. Here we can see a very clear multi-vortex structure which kind of came and went throughout its life, although most of the time it remained a large wedge tornado.
Hey, we got just a huge multiple vortex tornado down there. It's right now about 45 out. So we got maybe 45 minutes.
You're on Interstate 44, going to the southwest, turn around. Don't mess with this thing. Don't go outside and look at it because it'll kill you.
It is moving into the western sides of Newcastle right now. West Moore, Central Moore, South Moore, Newcastle, and far north Norman are in immediate danger of this tornado that continues to be on the ground.
Watch what happens here. We see the tornado undergo a sudden and violent expansion, transforming from a classic cone into a massive, fully developed wedge in a matter of seconds. Something you rarely see happen this fast.
Gary? Yeah. It's a wedge. We have a wedge-shaped tornado. Could be in the range of 200 to 250 miles an hour.
You should be taking immediate tornado precautions. We continue to watch this. Right now, you should go to the basement. You should go to the storm cellar.
How huge that is. Can you hear it? Hear that roar?
This was the first F5 that storm chaser Reed Timmer ever tracked, and he said on multiple occasions that this is the most perfect supercell structure he's ever seen, even up to today. I mean, just imagine what this footage would look like if they had 4K resolution in the 90s. You can gauge the power of this tornado just by looking at the mesocyclone, an exceptionally organized, extremely intense storm structure, capable of producing some of the most extreme tornado damage we've ever documented. The rear flank downdraft tightening the rotation at the surface, helping this tornado reach peak intensity. And in this clip, you see a nearly perfect clear slot. That sunlight is not a break in the storm, it's the storm organizing. A dry pocket of air wrapping around the tornado's circulation. This is a classic sign of a violent storm.
Shelter. Whoa.
Oh my gosh, Gary, it's hitting something right now.
The tornado now enters the small town of Bridge Creek, where it reaches its most extreme intensity and leaves behind the most violent damage of its entire life cycle.
Literally nothing that we could do. Nothing on the face of the earth could stop it.
Most of the 41 fatalities from this storm happened near Moore and the surrounding areas. Thankfully, the tornado reached its peak intensity in a sparsely populated area, Bridge Creek, home to only about 350 people at the time. If it had reached its peak intensity in a more densely populated area, we would have an even more tragic story on our hands. Homes are swept completely from their foundations, leaving bare concrete slabs, a signature of an F5 tornado. Vehicles are crumpled and compacted, not simply thrown or rolled, but crushed and deformed, as if they've been passed through some kind of industrial machinery.
Whose van is that? Mine. Oh man, you are.
It hit, man. It hit right on us. We had both.
Where were you guys?
Underneath the underpass.
Were you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
We had to hang on both hands.
It's here in Bridge Creek where the tornado reaches its peak intensity. And not just peak intensity for its own life, but peak intensity for the life of every tornado ever documented. The fastest winds ever measured in recorded history. A Doppler on wheels radar truck scans the storm, recording the numbers that would make meteorologists' jaws drop. 301, 318, 321 miles per hour. Now there's varying measurements because they come with a margin of error, plus or minus 20 typically, but even the most conservative readings are staggering. Before this moment, no scientist could confirm whether a tornado could approach, much less exceed, 300 miles per hour. The data being collected here would change the future of meteorology forever. Dr. Wurman's team measured winds roughly 100 feet up in the vortex, and the closer you get to the ground, the higher the winds are. On top of that, the highest numbers were deliberately left out, a cautious margin of safety by scientists that were unwilling to sensationalize. But make no mistake, this tornado was certainly over 300 miles per hour. And who better to explain what all this really means than the man who took the measurements himself, Dr. Josh Wurman. I am here with a world-renowned, possibly the greatest tornado scientist of the last quarter century, since Ted Fujita. I would say Dr. Josh Wurman is up there with the greatest, and certainly the most accomplished. So you'd been operating the Dow for 3-4 years by the time Bridge Creek Moore happened then?
Yeah, that was our, I guess, 5th season. 1999 was our 5th season with the Dows. Yeah, so we were out chasing storms on May 3rd, 1999.
When you look back on that day specifically, do you remember it pretty well? I mean, that was what, 26, almost 27 years ago now. Do you remember leading up to the tornado? You know, what you were seeing, what you were thinking?
So, I mean, it was a typical day in a sense during tornado season where we woke up in the morning and we're looking at the weather forecast. The weather forecast looked pretty favorable. In fact, I think we were more gung-ho than the Weather Service was, and some other chasers were even at that time. I think we were thinking, this looks pretty good. So we headed out pretty early, and then the forecast kept increasing. We made the right call that day, and we went southern Oklahoma, and we were there as the first storms formed. It was clear right away that this was going to be a very prolific tornado day. First storms formed and just boom, boom, they started making tornadoes. And we were scanning with the radar. We had scanned the first couple tornadoes of the day and gotten some great data. We didn't know what was coming, but it certainly seemed like there were more storms forming.
So was there a point, by the time the Bridge Creek Moore tornado started, you guys were on that one kind of right away, right? Or did you have to catch up to it? Or
yeah, we were on the storm early on. I think down there, Cement or some towns like that are further southwest of Bridge Creek and Moore. And so we were collecting data there. What we were trying to do with our 2 radars was triangulate on the storms, which is very, very difficult to do. If you can get 2 radars looking quasi-perpendicularly at the storm, you can get dual Doppler data, which is probably 10 times more scientifically valuable than just single Doppler data.
Yeah.
But it's also probably 10 times harder to get. So yeah, we initially were ahead of the storms, but then we were behind it when it was very strong. Going up Highway 44 So we couldn't catch up to it because there was kind of a rolling roadblock of other cars. Cars would stop because they were scared to get closer to the tornado. Rightfully so. I mean, these cars should not have been going up in there.
Right.
We were scanning while we were driving, so we could see where the tornado was. And so, uniquely, I could see that the tornado was off the road, and I knew we could sneak past it, but we could not because all these cars were stopped, and we were hopping out and yelling at people and trying to say clear a path and all that, but it was very hard to do that.
When did you realize this was an exceptionally powerful tornado? Do you remember that?
I knew it was a very strong tornado as soon as we got close and we're scanning through it, because we were seeing winds of at least 200 miles an hour on the real-time display. I could just see that, wow, those are really fast winds. The problem is we're scanning around. So by the time I zoom in and look at it, the next sweep's come by, and the tornadoes move. So I certainly knew the winds were well in excess of 200 miles an hour right away. So it had been the strongest tornado we'd ever seen. Also, there was debris falling on us. There was lumber, insulation, pieces of houses that were falling on us onto the highway. So it was clear that it was destroying homes. Later on, and it really was that evening and the next day when we were looking at the data back in our lab, and we could look at each sweep for as long as we wanted to. That's when we realized we had winds up near 300 miles an hour, very, very fast winds.
Okay, so you didn't know that for sure until you looked at the data later, that the winds were that high?
We didn't know how strong they were until we looked later. Yeah. I mean, we knew they were very, very strong. We just didn't know how strong. And the difference between 200, 250, 300 wasn't something I noticed in real time.
So do you remember your reaction when you were looking back at the data and you doing your math or however you figure out the specifics? You remember how it felt whenever you realized it was over 300 miles an hour?
So we realized we had seen winds stronger than had ever been measured in a tornado before, or in fact anywhere before. But we wanted to very cautiously report that. So we took a look at the data. I went to a very senior colleague and showed him the data and showed him and said, here, there's this area here which has winds over 300 miles an hour. Some of these pixels are up in the 320s, but I think we don't want to just report the worst one. We want to sort of say, hey, this region here, there's kind of an average in this region of around 300 miles an hour. So I sort of went through that and at least got some concurrence that was a reasonable procedure before telling people what the winds were.
You took those measurements, reviewed them later. You knew it was very strong at the time. And those measurements, they were taken, I believe, near Bridge Creek. Is that right? Do you remember?
Yeah, the strongest winds we measured were near the Bridge Creek area, I think right as it was going through Bridge Creek. And they're consistent with the fact that there was some very high-end damage in Bridge Creek. I went there and surveyed the next day. And yeah, there were houses that were just slabs, and the slabs were cleaned off. And the grass was all scoured. It's really, I think, still the worst damage I've ever seen in a tornado. Certainly, any tornado with winds of 200, 250, 300 does extreme levels and has shocking levels of damage. Bridge Creek was really probably the worst I've ever seen in terms of scraping off houses, scraping the ground, doing a lot of things like that.
Mike, very dangerous situation. We continue to talk about that. Folks, really, unless you can see these pictures, you don't know how serious of a situation this is. This is one of the most dangerous situations I've ever seen, I've ever heard, I've ever been involved in. This is bad, folks.
Golly. Huh? It's about a half a mile down the road from us now, Gary. Okay, I'm going to stop here and we're going to get some shots. Oh, wow.
Storm now is turning more to the left. And let me explain to you what this means. Here's the tornado circulation right here. It's just south of Highway 37 on the western sides of Moore. It made a jog to the right. It straightened out. Now it's turning a little bit, and now it may go on up and approach West Moore. Even you folks that are a mile north of South 89th Street, You folks need to seek shelter immediately. Interior closet or bathroom. We're talking about South Oklahoma City, near South 89th Street.
The tornado has now left Bridge Creek behind, a town small enough to know every name. 12 lives are lost there, and from here it moves towards something much larger.
It's coming through the city of Moore right now.
Tornado. Most structures, most houses will not survive this.
Gary, it's a half a mile to the left, right in front of us. It's leveled a couple houses over here on 149th Street. It's just now, probably a quarter of a mile north of 149th Street.
Weather Service, tremendous RFD is coming in on the backside of the tornado. Tremendous RFD now on the backside.
Yeah, I'm getting it. Watch out, you guys.
At this point, the tornado has crossed into Moore. It has fully entered the urban core of its path, and it's still maintaining violent F5 intensity. And this is where the damage becomes truly widespread. Entire neighborhoods are overrun, homes are reduced to bare foundations, asphalt peeled from the roads, the ground itself is scoured away. This infamous footage captures the scale and the violence of what's unfolding. A massive wedge grinding through residential streets as tens of thousands of people take shelter. Here the tornado tracks directly along Southwest 149th Street, a stretch of road I used to live on, carving its path through the heart of the city.
Into densely populated areas. In fact, it's in it right now. We've seen some incredible damage. The path, maybe a mile wide, maybe longer. As you look at it, this tornado is moving through parts of southwest Oklahoma City. Now that would be close to circulating southwest 149th.
Blown over, and it literally looks like an atomic bomb went off here just east on I-240 at Sunny Land. The tornado now is just to my east.
Mike, there you can see it on the ground. Very dangerous situation. Our worst fears really are realized.
Yes.
A major tornado on the ground in a major metropolitan area. Dangerous situation. Not since June 13th.
You can hear it.
See.
You can hear it
often
from South
here.
89th Street.
Let's be quiet for just a second. We'll see if we can hear that shot.
You can hear the roar. You can hear the tornado from 89th Street. You can hear the roar. That shot. Look at the debris. Look at all the debris. Look at all the debris in the air. Folks, please, we plead with you. You absolutely have got to get down. Get to the lowest level you possibly can. We plead with you. Do not take the extra minute or two. We plead with you to get below ground. Get in the interior closet or bathroom. Get in the bathtub. We plead with you. There is a tremendous amount of debris in the air. We pray and plead with you. Please get down now. If you're I-35, get out of your car. If you're east of I-35 over to Tinker Air Force Base, please, we plead with you. Go to your safe spot now. Take your radio. Forget the live pictures. Go get safe. Oh, my gosh.
89, South 89.
Folks, we plead with you, just go to your safe spot if you possibly can. That's an F. Look at the horizontal vortex. That is an F4 to an F5 tornado. That's winds of 250 miles an hour.
All right, we're asking our crew right now to shut down, get out, and get out of there. This is a dangerous situation. Mike, a serious situation. Many folks still will be tempted to go outside and try to look at this thing. Do not go outside. Stay where you're at. If you're in your car in this area, you need to get out of your car right now.
Now let's talk about some of the science behind this tornado. Being the strongest ever documented, I think it's worth getting into some of the specifics. The radar from the storm showed one of the cleanest hook echoes you could ever see, which oddly enough looks extremely similar to the EF5 that would hit Moore 14 years later. And one of the more unsettling findings from the radar data that Dr. Wurman collected is that the most violent winds in the Bridge Creek Moore tornado weren't always located inside of the visible condensation funnel. In several sections of its path, the strongest wind speeds were actually offset from what people could see. In other words, the tornado was even bigger and more violent than it appeared. meaning it wasn't just fast winds that made it so violent, it was sudden variations in wind speed. This showed that tornado intensity isn't evenly distributed, and because of that, catastrophic damage can occur almost right alongside survivable damage. Meteorologically, this highlighted how subvortices and internal wind structure dominate destruction, not just overall size. Now, there were a lot of storms that formed on May 3rd and also the following day. It was actually a very prolific outbreak of tornadoes, with at least 72 tornadoes in Oklahoma alone. And yet, the Bridge Creek Moore storm and tornado behaved very uniquely. It wasn't just an extreme environment with tornado parameters through the roof, although it was that too, but it was how efficiently the storm converted that energy into violence. This supercell formed in an atmosphere loaded with instability, deep moisture, and intense wind shear, the raw ingredients for violent tornadoes. But it was the storm's internal structure that really set it apart. Throughout the storm's life, there was a deep, sustained updraft capable of maintaining rotation for very long periods. Near the ground, low-level inflow remained focused and largely undisturbed, allowing rotation to be stretched and intensified instead of being disrupted by rain-cooled outflow, a critical factor in tornado genesis. So rather than cycling quickly like many violent tornadoes, this circulation stayed very tightly organized and near peak strength for an unusually long distance. The tornado remained on the ground for almost 90 minutes and traveled 38 miles without ever cycling, and really never weakened until its last few minutes. In doing so, Bridge Creek Moore became a near textbook example of how a supercell can efficiently funnel atmospheric energy into a single sustained catastrophic tornado, something scientists rarely get to observe so clearly in the real world.
The May 3rd, 1999 outbreak and that chase still stand out in my life as one of the most dramatic, eventful days. Very successful, but also pretty horrifying. When we drove through Moore, still trying to catch up to that storm as it was going through Moore and into, I think, Del City, there was still debris falling down. People were just beginning to come out of their shelters. We were really there just a couple minutes, probably after the tornado had gone through. I'm surprised that we were able to drive through the debris path, but we did. We were crossing right through the track, through the Moore area. Just looked horrible. I'd never seen anything like that before, because the houses were all just wiped out. Everything was brown because it was covered with mud and debris. Guys in the front seat saw a body by the side of the road. So it really was something we had never experienced.
As the storm moves northeast of Moore, things finally start to change. The tornado starts to get heavily rain-wrapped and disappear in a haze.
There goes.
The rear flank downdraft wraps cooler air around the circulation. The inflow weakens, the circulation tightens. The tornado, which had fed on warm air for an hour and a half, finally begins to choke itself off. Meteorologists call it occlusion.
It appears to have dissipated a lot, Mike. It appears to be losing some of its force.
The storm cuts off its own supply, and just like that, winds that once exceeded anything ever measured on the Earth begin to unravel. The funnel narrows, the roar fades. What had been a moving wall of destruction finally loses momentum. For the first time in hours, the sky starts to go quiet. The tornado dissipates. You might think or expect there to be a sense of relief when the storm finally dies, and surely there is, but on the ground, the real disaster has only just begun.
On your FM dial, 104.1.
107.7. That is damage. Okay.
Yes. Go ahead, Jim. Yes.
You got to look at this. This is phenomenal. It's gone. The neighborhood is gone. We are over a neighborhood just west of Tinker Air Force Base. It is gone, Mike. I mean, we come around and pull back. It's gone. It's leveled. There's nothing here. I mean, it's incredible. the damage, there must be 350 homes, Mike, that are gone. It's just foundations and rubble. I mean, it's incredible. If Steve has got if you're seeing this, Mike, this is incredible damage. I mean, it's just, the neighborhood is gone.
Okay, we need to start thinking about things like potential blood donations, potential charitable items to these families in this part of the metro, blankets, a warm place to stay tonight. You name it, because they need it, and they need our help right now.
As Ranger 9 was coming in from the southwest, you can see the damage track. I'm assuming this is part of more. And you see the power line flashes in the distance. And see, it's so huge you can't really tell it's a tornado on the ground, but incredible damage. Some of this is going to fall, I'm sure, in the F5 category, probably 260 to 300 miles an hour.
Mike, there is a lot of damage all around us here. This is the First Baptist Church. You can see their sign hanging right there, and we can see the path of the tornado. I don't know if you can see all those homes in the distance, but then it crossed Southwest 89th. We see a daycare center with the roof completely torn off, the sign torn off, playground equipment everywhere. And look into that neighborhood. Many of those homes are completely demolished.
From Moore all the way into the west side Tinker, there's nothing but total destruction. I'm confident it was an F4, possibly an F5 in locations. The Moore sustained substantial, very heavy damage, and I'm positive that I hope everybody took shelter there. It was really bad.
Here, look at this. It's the whole neighborhood, Mike. The whole neighborhood is gone. There's nothing.
That is F5 tornado damage, 260 mile an hour winds plus.
On radio, we're looking at damage of what was a neighborhood. Unfortunately, it looks now
it's totally destroyed.
It is. Well, I'm almost speechless. It's absolutely incredible. These are homes that are no longer homes. Just scattered debris for miles and miles. Dangerous situation.
This area, look. That is a foundation. The house, 100% gone, just like it was made of matchsticks, just blown apart completely. Again, cars blown all over the neighborhood. The folks said they were in their garages and just taken away.
For survivors, there's no pause between realization and response. They immediately start digging, following the cries for help that are coming from collapsed homes and mountains of jagged debris.
A police helicopter just came over with its spotlight. It's just eerie. I've never been in a war zone, don't want to be, but I can't imagine the devastation being much worse than this. I mean, the entire neighborhood, as you just said, is just absolutely destroyed.
This is the moment between survival and where realization settles in, where relief gives way to immense confusion, shock, and pain.
Gary says that there's certain tornadoes where you just have to be underground to survive them. Now I know.
What's left behind is difficult for survivors to comprehend. Entire neighborhoods lay in ruins, streets erased, landmarks gone, familiar places, their own homes, no longer recognizable. The destruction doesn't come in pockets or clusters, it stretches for miles, a continuous scar carved straight through the metro. Emergency crews are overwhelmed immediately. Hospitals activate disaster protocols. Paramedics treat patients wherever they can, on sidewalks and backyards and the open street. Survivors emerge bloodied, dazed, and in shock. Everything they owned and everyone they loved might be buried somewhere in the debris surrounding them.
She's dead right here. She's dead? Yeah, she's dead.
Well, a lot of this video was unedited. I do want to warn you.
Our sister-in-law was killed. She's over there in the bathtub. Oh, God.
There's 3 babies there at the hospital.
My brother and her newborn.
Our hearts go out to these families who have lost so much tonight.
For sure?
She's dead in the bathtub.
My sister
right there.
Some wander through the ruins, calling out names. Others sit silently where their homes once stood. By the end of the night, 41 lives are lost. Hundreds more are injured. Thousands are suddenly homeless, their lives cleanly divided into before and after. And for those who lived through it, the damage doesn't end when the debris is cleared. The sound, the fear, the violence of it, those things linger far longer.
The parking lot was full of just demolished cars, dead horses, all kinds of debris. Just to the south of it, the neighborhood was completely leveled. There was not a single structure left upright.
I've been doing this for 10 years, going out to different storms, and never come close to seeing anything as powerful as this.
How you going, everybody?
You can see pictures, you can see videos.
503 to 502.
But unless you're actually right there in the middle of it, you really can't comprehend the total scope of it.
You still have the pressure on your leg. Heads up, guys. Heads up, it's all coming your way. Get that baby out. Here's an empty guy. Here. Got a baby now. I got the baby. Thanks. Back up. Sorry. Baby. Okay. So you got a medic over here somewhere? Okay. Be careful. Help him down. Hell no. There. Come on, Davis.
Where were you? Were you in that closet?
We were all in this closet. All of us. My husband was cowered over us like this.
In the aftermath, survival feels arbitrary, a product of timing, location, and luck, being in the right place at the right time. Most residents make it through without life-threatening injury, but the deeper damage is universal, and for many it may never fully settle or make sense.
Those shots down the street and across the neighborhood are staggering.
Wait, down, left in there.
No, it's this one.
These folks,
She doesn't even
look like they know which house is theirs.
Denise Clayton Camp.
Denise!
Denise!
Clayton!
Denise!
Denise!
Shut up, be quiet!
Denise!
And this whole neighborhood has just been leveled, and it gives you some understanding about how wide it was. Let's listen.
Everyone okay as far as no?
Just the worst. I mean, just the worst. Nothing parallels this that I've ever been through. Nothing at all.
You're in a lot of pain. I know. What we got going on?
Some head wound on the back of her head.
Oh, man. Who's in charge of the morgue? We got somebody going to the morgue. Kathy. Here.
Yeah.
You're with the morgue?
Yeah, my name's Kathy Turner.
That one they just brought in. I'm afraid she's dead.
We'll take her across the street.
Yes, let's get her out of here right now. We got one. They brought in one that she has just expired. We can't afford the resources to try and work this. I'm real sorry. Hold 1 second, guys. Let me check 1 second. It's over. It's over. Go.
You're going to make it through this, okay? Did you have family? Where's your family?
I don't remember anything.
Oh, God, honey. Okay. Do you know where you live?
Once I got in the gym, from that point on, that's where I was. That was the only world that existed for me.
I'll go with pediatric on you.
She was still breathing okay, but I knew she had an obvious brain injury. The outlook for her was really bad. I knew that this was going to be a bad one.
Okay. Time fixed. Anybody know anything about the medical history on this girl? She's taking any meds right now? Okay, I'm going to have to go check on my baby over here and another one that quit breathing twice. I got to make a phone call to our dispatch because we're getting overrun here. I mean, I'm one person. Our worst is back here. This guy was vomiting blood. This is our guy. How we doing? Right here. This one first. Right here, guys. Blaine? Yes. Tell me where you're hurting the worst. It's your chest? Yeah. Are you breathing okay, Blaine?
Blaine was in really tough shape. They're in the gymnasium. He'd thrown up a whole lot of blood. I was really afraid we're going to lose him in there.
Hold on. Keep your head down. Small impalement's what I heard. Okay.
Honey, can you do me a favor? You just stay with this baby, and I want to make sure she keeps breathing and keeps talking, and hold her head just like that. Keep talking to her. Keep reassuring her.
You know your last name?
If someone doesn't know their own name, that's not good. She had injuries like you'd never seen. I mean, it looked like somebody just taken nails and driven them into her back. And I just remember thinking, oh my God, what's happened? This is like a war. It's like somebody's dropped an atomic bomb. Just keep her like that. Keep her very still. Okay, I got it. But at the same time, I had to say, okay, what's done is done. Is she awake, alert, and oriented? We've got to help these people. Come on, I got a baby.
Hey, guy. You doing okay? I know you've been through a lot, huh? Can you talk to me? What's your name? Wyatt? Yeah. How old are you, Wyatt? Is it, huh? 3? Okay. Where do you hurt at, Wyatt? Does your arm hurt anywhere over here?
Yeah.
Yeah? Where at?
He was able to talk to me, let me know where he hurt, and yes and no, and that hurts, and that kind of thing, which was fantastic. I mean, he was responding appropriately.
Does that hurt?
Yeah.
Yeah? Your hand hurts?
But I still have to be concerned about possible internal injuries, because here's a kid that's covered with mud and got cuts and scrapes and stuff on him, and I want to get him there quick.
Ooh, Wyatt, we got a bad one.
But at least he's with me 100%.
You got a bad owie on your leg here, don't you, Wyatt? No? Okay, I'm sorry. Here, I'll get you covered up. I'm sorry.
Just so sad. It's so utterly sad. To have your life be fine, and within 15 minutes, everything that you have worked so hard for be gone. There were times where I would just look around and think, I would love to sit down and just bawl right now, but I can't. I can't. And so you move on.
In the days that follow, recovery begins, a long process that doesn't move quickly. As with any extreme trauma, people have to slowly accept what's happened and allow themselves to mourn what's been lost.
Oh, bless your heart.
In the end, the tornado cost the area over $1 billion in losses, the first tornado to ever cross that mark. But the Oklahoma City area unites in every way you could hope to see. People donating their supplies, money, their time, whatever they could give.
Everything that you possibly need to live and survive right now. It doesn't matter how much they take. We'll give them as much as they want, as much as they need.
Donations come flooding in from all across the country, with some donating everything they have.
I was in a tornado about a year ago, and I knew how hard it was for everyone. They wanted to give up all the money.
It reminds me in spirit of Oklahoma, you've got people really willing to help out. They're great.
Everybody starts pulling together. It's a great thing. It's a shame it has to be a disaster to pull everybody together.
The shared trauma and grief brings the community together in a way that little else can. In the following years, over 8,000 buildings and homes were rebuilt, and residents settled back in, restarting their lives. For many in the region, this is not their first recovery from a violent tornado, and tragically, it won't be their last. Well, that's the story of the 1999 Bridge Creek Moore F5 tornado. And more than just the most powerful tornado ever documented, this was a turning point that pushed meteorology forward. It reshaped how tornadoes are studied and warned for, and it changed how the public experiences these events in real time. This storm was and is still today the benchmark for a major tornado disaster. And that shows you the unique gravity and the immense magnitude of this tornado. If you have thoughts on this tornado, its legacy, or anything else, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. That helps me out a lot, and I'll see you on the next one.